living out here, we don't have a whole lot of options for internet. There's a antenna on top of the roof that goes to the school over there, and that gives us kind of okay internet. But the only other option was either HughesNet, I'll show you that dish in a minute, that was here when we moved in, or Starlink. So here's my Mini real quick, and I've printed this to organize that cable a little bit better. I'm not too happy with this in PLA, probably won't be happy with it in PETG either. But then there's this thing which goes into the mounting thing here, and this will adapt it for my tripods. Now, again, I'm not happy with this being plastic, but it works great. So that kind of brings me to today's sponsor, PCBWay. Here we are in PCBWay's site. You've got, your instant quote, CNC 3D printing, PCB assembly. They have product capabilities here listed that show you all the different kinds of PCBs and things they can do. But the thing that really is cool to me is they do 3D printing. When I need something printed in metal, I come here. I upload my STL or similar file. I put up what the quantity I want, design units, material, all this stuff. And you just send off the quote when it's done. Someone checks it, and once they've decided that it's going to be viable, they send you the price. Thank you, PCBWay. I really do appreciate you sponsoring these videos. I would like to get this printed in like an industrial filament or even aluminum, and I'm going to have them print this for me in aluminum. I need to shrink it just a little and get the size just right. It's a very tight fit in there. I'm going to reduce this about 1%. It should fit fine. We'll test that. But then I'm going to have them print it for me in aluminum. And I'm really looking forward to getting these made in aluminum so I can have something much more sturdy. So here you see my Starlink dish that I put up. There was already a satellite TV dish there. I just took the dish off. It's actually right there. And then went ahead and mounted my Starlink on that. My brother-in-law helped me route it through the attic because he's much more nimble than I. And we had it up and running in like, 30 minutes. And most of that was just finding a way to get the cable in through an existing hole. So HughesNet offers really terrible internet. The latency's bad, the speed's bad. So it was nice to get the Starlink up there. Now we put that up about 9 weeks ago. And in that 9 weeks, there has been a 2-hour outage where it went down globally, and then about a 15-minute outage this week, or late last week, I guess. Total global outage. I hear that's not very common with Starlink, so I'm not too concerned, and it's been really great. When I had TDS internet in Indiana, which was fiber, even though we were rural, we were lucky there, that went out all the time. One day it was out for 3 days, because a combine came through town and ripped the fiber off the pole, and they had to splice it back together, and someone had to come with a fusion splicer from like Kentucky, so it took a few days. Before that, I had AT&T Uverse. It would go out all the time. I bet it was down for a total of like 20 hours a year. When I had Comcast before that, it was even worse. That was out all of the time. So we got the Starlink here, but that's not the one I want to talk about today. I want to talk about my Starlink Mini. I've got that because there's a lot of beautiful places out here, and I'd like to go to them and sometimes have internet. We also have been driving around a lot out here, and you lose signal. So I have a satellite messenger, a Zoleo, that I keep in my pocket so I can contact people if we break down or something. 2 of my phones also have that capability now. They didn't when we moved out here. And then I have the Starlink Mini with a roam plan so I can go wherever I want and have internet. I wish I had had it when we went to 2 family reunions. That'd have been real great. But yeah, I want to kind of talk about that today, and overall I'm very happy with it, but let's go take it to kind of a remote location and test it out in the real world. And I'll show you kind of how I power it and stuff. I don't have like a car power adapter. I just have all these power stations, so we're going to use one of those, and we'll kind of see what the wattage draw on it is when we're downloading something. Kind of get an idea how long that little tiny thing would power it. And it's also nice because if anything ever happens to that dish, then I do have a little bit of a backup. Now I will say the speeds are a little bit slower on the roam plan, but you can go anywhere with it and you're on a fixed location. So, I was getting like 100 megabits the other day. Pretty good. This dish wasn't optimally placed and stuff. I just had it flat on the ground, and yeah, it was doing all right. So let's go drive somewhere, check out some landscape, and look at that. I've parked out here. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I'll show you a little bit of the scenery here. We'll get the dish set up, and we'll see what happens. First, I want to try it on the dashboard. I've never done it on the dashboard, but there's a lot of people on the Starlink subreddit that say they use the Mini on the dashboard. So I want to see if it'll work. I just turned the power station on. I'm going to get the Starlink set up. Starlink is up and running. We're drawing about 37 watts right now. Again, it's in the window. My MacBook's coming up. We'll go ahead and connect. We're connected. We're drawing about 27 watts. I'm working on getting the speed test going. It is a little slow because obviously it's not optimal here. There we go. That might be a little bit better. Now it's not going into the column, but you can see the website is trying to load. And start. If we'd focus there. I picked the wrong laptop to come do this. I forgot how shiny my MacBook Pro is, but this will take, I don't know, a minute to run, but we're getting, you know, like 50 megabits down, megabits down right there. So in the window, I would say this is working pretty good. I see why people say they use this now. It seems to be working well. When we get out here in a minute, I'll kind of show you where we're at and how cool it is. There is an awful lot of traffic, but you know, there's only like 3 roads out here, so traffic has to go somewhere. I know people always talk about hearing their Starlink, but since ours is on the roof, I don't really think about it. But every time I have this Mini out, you can hear it doing its thing. So that's actually better than I was getting at home. We'll see what the final ends up being. I like using the Cloudflare speed test the best. And right now, I just saw 40 watts on there. It's 26 now. Depending on what you're doing will depend on that. But as it stands right now, I'm looking at like 23 hours. Realistically, probably 18 hours from the power station just to run this Starlink. I'd say that's pretty freaking impressive. So I think this is our final test. Yeah. So I only dropped 0.8% of the packets. We ended up doing about 179 down and 5.59 up, which is great because one of my phones does not have a signal right here and one barely has an LTE signal. Now I'm going to go ahead and hop out. We're going to put this on the roof and we will run this test again. Man, it's been a steady stream of cars. So we're out here. You can see some of the monuments over there. The mittens are kind of that way. And this is where I am right now. And I got the Starlink there. So let's get back in the car here. We'll run this test again. Let me shut this car door. And I can find my mouse. And of course I have company now when I'm trying to film a video. So we're at 72. So it's already doing better. I'm actually going to be curious to see here if we get 100 or 300 like I do at home. I shouldn't on my Go plan, but it sure is looking pretty good. Yeah, we're still at about 0.8% packet loss. Not bad. I mean, I get that at home on Starlink. And again, this isn't optimally placed. We're drawing 38 watts down here. 37, 29. Like it bounces around depending on how much you're downloading, obviously, and how much you're uploading. Because, yeah, it's a radio, basically. Well, it is a radio. It's a satellite radio. 37 watts. Still going. Our upload's a little bit better. Download's going to be about the same, I think. But, yeah. We might hit 200 there. Come on, you can do it. I just love this Starlink Mini. I also love this power station. It's got a decent amount of storage and a nice enough form factor. And then it has the handles, which I like. That was just my dash cam turning off. Yeah, so here we finished, again, 0.8% packet loss, 199 megabits, and then 10.7 up. So perfect for doing anything you'd want to do, like video chatting great, online gaming great, video streaming great. The jitter's not too bad. The latency, you know, maybe you don't want to play a first-person shooter on it, 48.1, but I do at home. I play plenty of Fortnite, and it works great. So, yeah, that's been the Starlink Mini. Let's go to another location and just get some more little scenic and maybe not have the audience that I have behind me. Now we're out at Train Rock, where unfortunately people like to dump their trash. We are connected again. We're in the dashboard again. I'm going to situate my laptop a little bit better there. Let's make sure we're actually connected to the Wi-Fi here. Let's run this again. Again, I just love this thing so much. And like the battery, you know, it's saying I have 24, 25 hours. That wattage, even if it doubled, I'd still have 12 hours. You want to go camping or something? You take your Starlink, say you're going to go on a week camping trip, but you have your family call on Zoom, or you need to do something for class, or hey, you got an important meeting. you got to attend that meeting, but the rest of the time you can enjoy your vacation. You just take a Starlink Mini with you. Like, I love this roam plan so much. And, you know, having a power station like this Pecron, it allows you to be able to do that, to have the power. You know, I could hook this up to a solar panel, even if I'm only drawing like 50 watts. My average duty load is less than that. So while I'm using it, I'm actually gaining battery. You know, if I'm using this for 7-8 hours a day and I have the panel going, then I'm going to be able to run for a long time. And again, you can just plug it into your 12 volt and charge it or whatever. And they've got, you know, adapters for the Starlink Mini and stuff for your car. But not getting the best here. But again, it's just in the dashboard. It's not optimal. It's going into the roof a little. I think the dish actually wants to be pointed like that direction. So still really amazing. You know, I don't get that on my phone out here. Let's see. The one phone has a signal, but the phone I'm recording with doesn't out here. And it's great. Even though around this corner is a cell tower. It's not until I get around that corner, obviously, because knife edge diffraction only works so well. But yeah, that's been my experience with the Starlink Mini. Obviously, I could throw it up on the roof. It would be a lot better. And this is just pretty cool. And again, you use a power station or something. Yeah, you got a nice little camping setup for your Wi-Fi, for your power. Like, and you know, I think that latency was even just a hair better over here. I'm getting a lot of packet loss here, though, 26.4%. But again, it's because it's like going up into the metal. So let's try one last time. And it just blows my mind that I'm doing this on my dashboard. I'm communicating with a satellite in space to get my internet to run the speed test for a video that I'm filming for YouTube to upload because it's my job. Like, we truly live in the future. I just can't. While that runs, yeah, see, it's already doing a lot better. The angle really does matter. And then just, you know, the scenery out here is so great. Like, the fact that I'm out here and it looks like Mars, and I'm using my Starlink Mini, which I have as Mars rover for the Wi-Fi network, and on top of the car I have a Meshtastic unit. I'll show you that too real fast, which is also Mars rover. So I have a solar powered Meshtastic up here, and yeah, like, so cool. Yeah, so we're back down to 0.2% packet loss. And we're at 107 megabytes, 6.3 up on the dash. Honestly, what more do you want? Sorry, that's the dash cam. Just so cool. Using my Starlink in my car off of a power station, getting internet from a satellite. What a time we live in. I'll see you guys in the next video.